You can't fix it.
Absolutely not! And without a new floater, we're stranded.
What? There's got to be something we can do.
At this point, we can't even radio for help. Not that it would come.
There's enough food and water for 10 days.
Do you really think anyone will find us before we start to starve?
I love Dragon Ball. Throughout years of my childhood, I've always loved watching all things with the Dragon Ball name, from epic fights to genuinely strong emotional moments. I'm still a kid now, still absolutely obsessed with the show, mainly Dragon Ball Z. What made Z so special over the other series was its sheer emotional impact. No fighting for the sake of fighting, no power of friendship, every battle was a genuine struggle to see who would come out on top. When I started getting into the franchise, Dragon Ball Super was already finished, and yet I still felt that strong, unbreakable connection to the sheer hype that Z had decades later. I was convinced of all my favourite arcs and moments: Goku's first Super Saiyan transformation, Majin Vegeta vs Super Saiyan 2 Goku, Perfect Soul vs Super Saiyan 2 Gohan, etc. I had somewhat given up hope for Super altogether. What I had seen didn't excite me nearly as much as the classics. That was until...
This is our chance, my son! Attack!
Dragon Ball Super Broly. I like to look at this film as a rebirth of Dragon Ball. A film so incredible that it both drew Dragon Ball back to its original roots and entertained and engaged all audiences of all different experiences with the show. The amount of friends I've spoken to that use this film to get into Dragon Ball as a series is staggering compared to any other starting point. But this film earns it. It earns the title of the rebirth of Dragon Ball, and I'll tell you exactly why. Before that though, 100 subs? 4,000 views? Thank you everyone for the incredible support on the last video. I never even expected we'd hit those numbers. If you guys like more content like this, please keep up the support. It's very appreciated. Without further ado, let's go back to the topic at hand. Broly is the true focus of this film, and his new and improved character is a major reason why this movie is as good as it is. A once barbaric force of nature, Broly has now been transformed into a quiet but motivated man. His unfathomable power controlled by his father, Paragus. We see through the movie not only growth and development of his character, but nods to the original series that a series veteran like me loves. Hell, even the wounds on his chest are references to the way he died in past movies. Throughout the movie, his father Paragus tortures Broly through not only a physical electrocution device, but by getting inside his head. Broly's only goal appears to be to live up to his father's expectations. Their tragic backstory only makes Paragus more vengeful. A cold commander, he punishes Broly for showing any sense of sympathy or failure. He intends to create the perfect fighting machine for revenge against King Vegeta. Broly, however, begins to slowly gain sentience and motivation throughout the film, culminating in an intense fight and an emotional finale. Broly's quiet and looming personality, but immense power, is let out in one of the best fight scenes in history. The 40-minute long bout with him against Goku and Vegeta. We see this brutal and barbaric nature of fighting against a calm and collected Vegeta, but his true rage takes over upon fighting Goku. Whereas honourable fighters throughout the series end their battles upon the true defeat of their opponent, Broly stops at nothing, beating a wounded Goku furiously. His primitive urges are truly dominant in his mind in the ring of combat. He has true Saiyan blood connecting in his style. This Saiyan rage is shown through his transformation into the legendary Super Saiyan perfectly. Paragus, his father, is killed. Although Broly should not have anger, he is overwhelmed by an uncontrollable wave of emotions. Fear, confusion, rage. This rage is a force to be reckoned with. His strength rivals two Super Saiyan God Warriors, and he blindly attacks anyone he sees. This does lead to the funniest scene in the movie. Already, with just the tip of the iceberg of this character, Broly is more unique and interesting than 90% of the foes encountered in the Dragon Ball franchise. All too commonly, especially in Super, villains are evil for the sake of it, to counter-curb Goku. They are maniacal threats for a purpose that only exists to push the plot forward. Broly, his relationship with his father, and his competition against fellow Saiyans runs so much deeper than this surface-level evil, and greatly contributes to why this movie is so damn good. Broly's rage is his strength and his weakness. He fights with rage, but his rage undoes him at the hands of another one of this movie's superb characters.
Out there and defeat him. Oh, what should we call you?
Huh? Using the Pataras, it was Vegeta, wasn't it? Okay then, how about,
No, forget it. Hurry and go.
Now hold on a sec. Having a name would definitely make us sound much cooler. This time it'll be Gokuja. Vekujo. How about Gogeta?
Gogeta not only being canon, but being such a relentless opponent contributed perfectly to the revival of Dragon Ball. Not only was Gogeta a silent badass in his original first appearance, but here his character has purpose. Time and time again, in modern Dragon Ball, we see transformations without motive or reason, as if an attempt to build hype in a flimsy and incomplete storyline. But here, Gogeta is a character and an unstoppable force. He attacks Broly in his enraged Super Saiyan state with ease, whereas Vegito is Vegeta's pride and ability fused with the playfulness and ease of Goku. Gogeta is the humble warrior within Goku mixed with the ferocity and command of Vegeta. Now, I'm not saying that Gogeta wins in a battle between the two fusions, but he wins without question. In the movie, the first appearance of Gogeta is seen as a positive, the savior to the film who will stop Broly once and for all. But as he fights, the atmosphere begins to turn for the worst. Threatening intense music, a sheer beatdown of Broly. Gogeta does not seem to hold back against the naive and confused Saiyan warrior. If not for some external factors, which I won't spoil, Gogeta would have killed Broly without hesitation, with perhaps the most emotional and raw Kamehameha in the series to this day. A Saiyan led by rage and blind anger versus a fusion powerful enough to rival the gods with no limits. A seemingly stereotypical and predictable fight is turned on its head. The intensity and limitless potential of the two make for a spectacle of a fight, perhaps one of the best the series has to this day. These characters and battles would go on to set the stage for the rapid improvement of Dragon Ball. Gone are the days of random transformation iterations and statistics. Fights are now sheer displays of power, instinct, but morality. The lack of brutality in modern Dragon Ball fights was swiftly put to rest with this movie. Half the movie's runtime is one of the most incredible Dragon Ball fights of all time. Harking back to the days of Dragon Ball Z, just the way everyone used to and continues to love the series. There is so much more I could go into about the plot, the characters, the atmosphere of this film, but please, go watch it yourself. You can go on Netflix, Anime Lab, wherever it may be. Such a short watch commands such emotional power. I can't recommend this to Dragon Ball fans and non-Dragon Ball fans alike enough. That being said, there are some little things I feel would go unsung if not touched on in this video. The score is genuinely the best in Dragon Ball history. It's hard not to be blinded by the nostalgia of classic tracks from Z, but this score is powerful. Each tense song hits you in the chest. You feel the sound in your throat. Each quiet song builds atmosphere around the characters, the world, and the oncoming battles. Moments of silence are used in tandem perfectly. The impacts of punches, Broly's transformations, the list goes on. The score in this film is nothing short of sublime. I would go as far as to call it Dragon Ball's best. Paragus and Broly's relationship runs so much deeper than just the captive and captive trope. The father and son bond turn into questioning with exposure and maturity. We as the audience genuinely sympathize and care for both sides of the feud. But, nonetheless, we enjoy the thrilling moments where the duo can work together regardless. As I said before, that Broly and Goku vs Vegeta fight is some of the best in the series' history. We see Paragus use Broly as a weapon, but awe in his sheer barbaric strength upon losing control of his emotions. It takes intense strength to firm a punch to the head from a Super Saiyan God Vegeta, and not even blink. The animation is some of the most fluid and perfect the series has. Dragon Ball Original and Z suffer from lack of technical ability, while still maintaining nostalgic and wonderful animation. But some of the super animation is genuinely abysmal. This movie strikes a perfect balance, fluent fights, awe-inspiring transformation sequences, and a clever use of CGI. The sheer quality of the animation adds to this experience. It makes all of the many hits more impactful. Nothing like seeing it in theaters, but it's the closest we can get. The hype this movie commanded around the time it was coming out was wild, but well deserved. This was the first Dragon Ball movie since Resurrection of F, and it was coming off of a well-received Tournament of Power arc in the Super anime. The stage was set for an amazing Dragon Ball movie, and they did nothing short of deliver. The voice acting is perfect. I genuinely could not imagine it being any other way. Especially with Vic Mignogna as the titular Broly. His screams of fear and rage are some of the most emotional and sympathetic in the series. Screams of shock, anger, fear, but that rage all come from Broly at the perfect times to show the audience his raw emotional fighting style. Case in point, go watch this movie. It undeniably changed Dragon Ball as a franchise for the better, while also being one of the most gripping and tense anime movies of all time on its own. I could talk about this for hours and hours, but I've got other, longer videos in the works. Consider this one a genuine love letter to this film, and how it shaped one of my favourite franchises of all time for the better. Let's hope in the future we'll see another Dragon Ball film in the franchise as emotional, well acted, fluently animated. Oh shit, there already is.